never will forget when my mother and father would go driving in the car. And they'd be going somewhere, and you know how men are. We like to always act like we know where we're going. And my mama called him Ernest Sale. She said, Ernest Sale, look like we should have been there by now. He said, oh, woman, I know where I'm going. She wouldn't say nothing. We kept riding. She said, Ernest Sale, something's wrong with this. This don't even look like the place it ought to be. Oh, woman, I know what I'm doing. When she got said, she said, if you know where you going, how come that's the same boy that was eating an ice cream cone 5 minutes ago? We just passed him again. You know what she was saying? She was saying, baby, you're driving, but you're going around and around and around. And so anytime you keep seeing the same things happen in your life from year to year, attracting the same kind of men into your life, going through the same crisis on your job, going through the same confusion with this husband that you had with your ex-husband, married the same kind of crazy woman you had 10 years ago. Somebody tell them this looks like a cycle. One man said, we have compassed about this mountain long enough. Some of us are tired of seeing the same things, dealing with the same people, going through the same problem, dealing with the same crisis over and over again. We might have to go through some new problems, but for God's sake, let it be a new problem. I'm tired of stumbling over the same weakness year after year. It's gotta break. Touch somebody, tell them I'm tired of tripping over this. My mama tripped over it. My grandma tripped over it. My aunt tripped over it. My uncle tripped over it. My granddaddy tripped over it. I'm tired of tripping over this. I may trip over something else, but I refuse to trip over the same thing. Generation after generation, generation after generation. The devil is a liar. We're going to break this cycle before it gets to my son. I'm going to... Some of you are going through a cycle in your ministry, cycle in the church. Same thing that they went through 20 years ago, going through it again, over and over again. Till after a while your church has a personality. They done gone through 25 pastors. And they'll tell you how long they've been there. We saw Reverend Flip coming. We saw Reverend Jack coming. We were there when Reverend Willie was there. We were there when Reverend Daniel was there. And if you don't act right, we'll get rid of you. You ought to tell them, wait 1 minute. Tell somebody, tell them, we're going to break this cycle tonight. Ain't nobody running me off from my blessing. Ain't nobody pushing me back from what God gave me. I don't care who you ran off before. You might have ran off my daddy, devil, but you're not running me off. I'm going to break it in the name of Jesus. Touch 3 people and tell them it will break. Some of them don't believe it, but it will break. Some of them are scared of the devil, but it will break. Some of them are intimidated, but it will break. Some of them are frustrated, but it will break. The devil's been bragging and showing you his resume and showing you who all he got tied up and who all he messed up and who all died in your family with cancer and who all lost their mind and who all had a nervous breakdown. Tell somebody, say it will break. Abraham was a blessed man. The blessing of the Lord was upon him. There's a 7-fold blessing applied to Abraham's life. God talks on and on about how he has blessed him, caused him to be a blessing, how he's made his name great, how he would bless them that bless him and curse them that curse him. See, when you're blessed, it's good to bless somebody who's blessed. It's good to be nice to somebody that's blessed. If you can't build them a room like one would have did, just give them a glass of water. Because God said, I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. I don't care how mad you get. Don't ever let the devil trick you into cursing somebody that God is blessed, because God said, I will curse. You ain't got to fight. You ain't got to argue. You ain't got to defend yourself. If the anointing is on your life, God said the battle is not yours. Pat your neighbor and say, whatever you do, don't curse me, baby. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, darling. Don't do that. No, I know you're frustrated. I know I stepped on your pocketbook, but don't curse me. I know I'm sitting on your hat, girl, but don't curse me. I know you wanted your sister to sit here, but don't curse me, because there's a blessing on my life, and God said, I will curse them that curse you. If you're sitting beside somebody that's blessed, just say something nice to them. Just bless them. Tell them you look good. I'm glad for you. I want you to make it. Be strong. Just bless them. I dare you to bless them. You'll get blessed. Just bless them. If you just try to bless them, a blessing will come back and slap you in the face. If you just say anything to encourage them, whatever you send out, it'll come right back to you. Pressed down, shaking the... Look all around you, tell them, whatever you do, don't curse me. Whatever you do, don't curse me. Don't curse me. Don't do that. I don't want to have to pray that off for you. I don't want to have to pray that off for you. I don't want to have to do like Moses and pray leprosy off. Don't do that. Don't do that. You might not understand me, but don't curse me. You may not like my suit, but don't curse me. You may not like my socks, but don't I know you got an attitude. I know you go for bad, but don't curse this, baby. The reason some of your enemies are in the fix they're in right now is because they opened their mouth against you and what God had called you to do, and judgment came upon them. That's why they're in the trouble they're in right now. Some of you right now trying to pray some stuff off of people who treated you like a dog, because whatever you send out is going to come back. Sit down, we're going to talk a while. Miriam opened her mouth up against her brother's marriage. When he married that Ethiopian woman, she got an attitude and opened her mouth, and God struck her with leprosy. And the one that she was cursing had to pray the curse off of her. That's why you don't have to walk around afraid of witches. Because a blessed man is a mirror. And whatever you send out comes right back to you again. Tell somebody, tell them, you sitting by a mirror tonight. You make a face at this, it comes right back to you. You open your mouth against this, it comes right back to you. You bless this, it's going to come right back to you. If you try to encourage me, there's no way you can encourage me and not be encouraged yourself. If you know much about your Bible at all, You know that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob become the patriarchs for the Old Testament church. Cause you to be a blessing. Never be jealous of somebody that God bless. Because whenever God blesses one person, he blesses it for the multiple of people. That ultimately all people are blessed. Some of you suffered some terrible things to get the ministry you got right now. But at the end of your suffering, God released you into another realm of blessing. And the blessing wasn't just for you. As you get up and declare that word, all kinds of people are going to be blessed through the things that you suffered and endured. That's why the enemy tried to kill you. It wasn't just over you. It was over the generations that are in your womb. The enemy knew that if you ever got resurrected and reproduced after your kind, that when you birth a son, that son won't have to go through what you went through because you already went through it in advance. Look at somebody and tell them, I came from good stock. I didn't come from no junk. Abraham was blessed, and yet he had a weakness. It's funny how the church never talks about that. The dichotomies of life. Isn't it amazing how you can be blessed and still not be perfect? Spiritual and still human. Isn't it amazing how you can be anointed and go home and be depressed? I know y'all don't know. Isn't it amazing how you can encourage other people and secretly be discouraged yourself? Isn't it amazing how you can believe God for somebody else's ministry and come home and look at yours and say, can these bones live again? When you read about Isaac at Gerar, he's down there with Rebekah. And they ask him, is she his wife? And he says, no. She's my sister. And he lied. He was anointed, but he lied. He was gifted, but he lied. He was a patriarch, but he lied. He perpetuated the seed of Israel, but he lied. And I'm not shocked that he lied, because I've been around some church folk. If it was just that he lied, I wouldn't even preached on it, because within 10 seats from you, there wouldn't be no need in preaching on something that you've experienced all the time. That wouldn't make a real good message. But the thing that's unique about him lying is that we've heard this lie before. This is the same lie in the same place that his father had told one generation before. One thing I want to compliment both the father and the son for marrying women so fine that they felt the need to lie. They had a whole lot in common. But the other thing, y'all can say whatever you want to. I want to see Sarah. I don't mean no harm. I just want to, anybody that old and still looks so good up in her 80s and you still afraid to tell anybody she your wife. I mean, I see some nice looking 80-year-old women, but I ain't never seen nobody 70, 80, 90 years old that was so fine that I was scared. I just want to, I want to see upon the face. Hot up here, y'all. The same thing that Abraham does, Isaac comes along in the next generation and does it too. Now, this is something the psychologists argue about all the time over what causes us to be like we are. Some say that it is genetics, and some say it's environment. And those who support the genetic concept say that we pass it on through our genes from one generation to the other. But the others say, no, it's not genetics, it's totally environment. That when we're raised in certain environments, we perpetuate certain types of weaknesses based on the environment in which we were sired. And I would agree with the environmentalists, because I have seen people who were not genetically related but yet repeated the same personality characteristics of the environment from which they were spawned. But I have to hold up a minute, because it couldn't have totally been environment, because Isaac wasn't even alive when his daddy told a lie. He didn't hear him do it. He wasn't raised up around it. And even though he wasn't even there yet, in the next generation, here he repeats the exact same lie that his father told, though he never heard his father tell it. Now I'm amazed. How could this son duplicate the same sin of his father? This is a cycle. Anytime you can follow a pattern down to a family or a church or a business, it's a cycle. Every so often it comes up again. A cycle. How could Isaac repeat his father's sin, except the sins of the father were passed to the son? I want to tell you something tonight that is very significant. Every one of you in this room must hear this. Sometime or other, before your life is over, you have got to fight your daddy's devil. It may not be this year. You may not even need this right now, but get the tape and put it in a drawer somewhere. Sooner or later, the same thing that came against him, whether it's your daddy in the ministry or your natural daddy or the environment that you were sired, that same thing will come against you. It's a cycle. You got any Bible for that? Yes. I just told you about Abraham and Isaac. Look at David. Look at David. David, anointed David, King David, victorious David, but he had a little weakness with Bathsheba. You know about David's stuff. David had such a sexual weakness in his life that when he got old and they threw a woman in his bed and he didn't do anything, they said the king is dead. Read it, it's in there. They said, oh, he's dead, and they started mourning. And guess what? He had a son named Amnon who raped his daughter named Tamar. And he had another son named Solomon who had wisdom, but he had so many concubines and so many women that it led to his destruction. What Solomon didn't know is that this wasn't a fresh devil. This was his daddy's devil coming back up against him again. And somewhere in your life, it may be a devil of poverty. It may be a devil of depression. It may be a devil of frustration that makes you throw your hands up and say, I quit. I'm tired of working on this. It may be a devil of insecurity. It may be a devil of a physical affliction. But somewhere in your life, you have got to roll up your sleeves and fight. Your daddy's devil. Ask your doctor. Used to be when you went to the doctor, all he did was examine you. Now when you go to the doctor, he wants to ask you about your mama. Did your grandmama have high blood pressure? Did your grandfather have kidney disease? He starts asking you about dead people, people you don't even know.